Wakey wakey, the Kellogg'S football camps are back this summer. To claim a free place, purchase a promotional pack of Kellogg's cornflakes, Cocoa Pops or Rice Krispies. Scan the QR code on pack or visit kellogg'sfc.com to request your free code. See website for full terms and conditions.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees, and welcome to day 4 on this very special Kellogg's Football Camp Super Week. This may well be one of my favourite episodes I've ever written, and it may well go on to be my favourite episode I've ever recorded. We'll have to find out, because in this episode we're going to be speaking about the world's oldest professional football club. Although I'm sure there are some people who may argue that, they are the world's oldest professional football club. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the only non-top flight team in history to have won the FA Cup. Of course, it's no other than Notts County Football Club. This week, as it is a very special Super Week with Kellogg's, we are doing a team shout-out week, and those shout-outs have been coming in thick and fast to the Patreon and to Darren at Football for Kids podcast at gmail.com. I've only got one on this episode, and that is from Logan. It says, "Hi, my name is Logan, and I play for Park Farm Pumas under 11s. I love listening to these podcasts every night. I hope to get a shout-out." Well, Logan, first of all, a massive shout out to you, and secondly, a huge, humongous shout out to the Park Farm Pumas under 11s, and to the coaches, and to every single person in that team. Right then, let's get into it, shall we? From the Park Farm Pumas under 11s to the oldest professional football club going, Notts County Football Club. So, Sheffield FC are regarded as the oldest football club in the world when it comes to looking at amateur football teams. Notts County hold the record for being the oldest professional football club on the planet, as they date all the way back to 1862, which, as I record this today in June 2025, is 163 years ago. That is a long time ago. It was so long ago that none of these things were even invented by the time that Notts County were up and running. The light bulb wasn't invented, the telephone wasn't invented, and the refrigerator wasn't even going, according to Google anyway. You get the picture though. Notts County is a very, very old football club, and because of that, my goodness, have they got some unbelievable history, and we are going to dive into it right now. So, as the story goes, and you know I like a story, 163 years ago, some rather well-to-do gentlemen, including William Arkwright and Charles Deacon, started playing as what they described as a rather spirited game of football. It was a rather spirited game of football in some nearby gardens. They played the game under their own rules, and get this, there are reports that there were somewhere around 20 players playing on each side of this football match, which was said to be rather eventful. Can you imagine that? 20-a-side football, 40 people on a football pitch, and a referee all going for the ball at the same time? Apart from the referee, of course. It must have been hilarious to watch at times, and thoroughly entertaining indeed. The kit which Notts County are famous for, which if you didn't know, is a black and white striped kit, which actually has a massive connection to the Italian giant Juventus. The world famous Italian club Juventus wear a black and white striped kit, and some of the greatest players of all time have worn that kit. But as the tale goes, Juventus used to wear a relatively bright coloured pink jersey, but these jerseys faded quickly in the wash, and the kit people at Juventus got so fed up with the kit fading that they wanted something to happen about it. They wanted an alternative to the pink tops. So, in the early 1900s, an Englishman called John Savage, who was involved with Juventus Football Club, arranged for new shirts to be sent from England. One of the teams that John Savage was involved in was Notts County Football Club, who kindly sent across the sea some black and white striped kits. And that is how all of these years on, Juventus have been playing in a black and white striped kit, because Notts County sent them that very kit all of those years ago. And in 2011, Juventus invited Notts County in for a friendly match at the Juventus Stadium. So although they may well be worlds apart when it comes to their level and achievements, but the shirt jester from the early 1900s has never ever been forgotten. Notts County were running football in their own way in the 1800s, and then they became one of the founding members in 1888 of the Football Association. Before this, they even had players who played in England's first ever international men's match, which, get this, was all the way back in 1872. It was an amateur football match because, well, professional football didn't exist at this point. It was a game against Scotland, England versus Scotland, and it ended with a thrilling scoreline of 0-0. Notts County and their players really were involved in almost everything and anything from when the records began when it came to professional football. And after 163 years of their existence, Notts County have been involved in 2 FA Cup finals. One of those was 135 years ago, in a game that they lost against Blackburn Rovers. And 3 years later, they won their only ever major trophy. They won the FA Cup 4-1, and a man who is still spoken about today because of that final is a man called Jimmy Logan, who scored a hat-trick on that very day. After this, Notts County didn't do anything anywhere near this level. What followed this in the 1900s was 2 World Wars. But after World War II had finished, Notts County really went for it. They brought a player from Chelsea called Tommy Lawton, who was an England international and Chelsea player. And in 1947, get this, they paid a whopping great £20,000 for him, which in today's money is about 860,000 quid, which I'm sure you can imagine is an obscene amount of money for a player, especially in 1947. And just to really punch it home, here are a few things that you could buy in 1947 for £20,000. You could buy 10 or more houses, which back then cost approximately £1,800 each. You could buy a private jet. You could also buy several luxury Rolls-Royce cars. Notts County got one player, Tommy Lawton. The investment was worth it though. Hundreds, if not thousands more fans came to come and watch Notts County just to get a glimpse of the player Tommy Lawton in all his glory. He was a proper celebrity back in those days, and apparently it was a joy to watch him play the beautiful game of football. Notts County have always been a bit of a yo-yo club, and this has been something that's had the hearts racing of the fans over the years. In the 1980s, Notts County found themselves in the English 3rd Division. And then in 1990, the club made an incredible comeback under the legendary character and manager Neil Warnock, when they won 2 playoff finals back to back. And in the 1991-1992 season, they found themselves in the English top division. But it just wasn't meant to be. The competition was just too fierce, and they ended up getting relegated that same very season. Oh, and one for the Leeds United fans. You lot won the league that season. A good time to support the boys in white, yellow and blue. These days, Notts County find themselves in EFL League 2, and they were so very close to making it to yet another playoff final, but it just wasn't meant to be this time round. Now before we end this, let me give you one fact to stick up your sleeve. Notts County hold the record for the longest English Football League membership in history. They registered with the Football League in 1892, and they held that membership all the way until they got relegated to the National League in 2019, making them members of the Football League for 131 consecutive seasons. That is an incredible stat and an incredible achievement. So remember, if you know somebody who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
We all know that owning a small business means you wear many hats, but sometimes you really need an extra pair of hands. Upwork is how good companies find great and trusted freelance talent. With more than 2 decades of experience, with the simple and ambitious goal of pioneering a better way of working, companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in staffing key projects and initiatives. They access a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web dev, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, and get help drafting a job post or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them and take your business to the next level. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com.